Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Yes, I'm back after being indisposed over the weekend, hence no mingles with Jingles yesterday. But we're back, normal service has been resumed, and that means it's time for some warships, and this, in the German Tier 7 premium battleship, although it's more like a battle cruiser, more on that in a moment, is Val the Thought. Val tells me that he's using his 10-point Koenig captain on his shiny horse. And what's unusual is that it's not a captain with concealment expert as that tier 4 skill. It's not even a captain with Deadeye as that tier 4 skill. Yeah, I know, he's really bucking the trend here, isn't he? Actually, before we go into his skill build any further, let's just quickly assess the overall situation, because he's in a tier 7 battleship, even though it really plays more like a battle cruiser, and we'll talk more about that in a moment too. He's top tier, and there are 5 cruisers on the enemy team. No aircraft carrier, and only 2 destroyers. Now, the Scharnhorst is only armed with 283mm guns. And this is one of the reasons why I say it plays more like a battle cruiser, like the tier 9 and 10 super cruisers, the Alaska, the Yoshino, and so on and so on. Because it's incredibly fast for a battleship. It has a top speed of over 30 knots. And while its guns are lower caliber than those of battleships 2 or even 3 tiers lower, they're pretty accurate and they fire very quickly with a base reload of only 20 seconds. Which means that the Scharnhorst is exceptionally good at killing cruisers. Although, to be honest, I think he didn't quite give enough lead on the York over there. Yeah, oh well, never mind. Better luck next time. When I first got my hands on the Scharnhorst years and years ago, I just didn't get it. And that was all down to me. There was nothing wrong with the ship. I just wasn't playing it right. At the time, I'm pretty sure there were only 2 other Tier 7 battleships in the game, the Japanese Nagato and the American Colorado, and both of those were armed with 16-inch guns. 16-inch guns that had very few problems overmatching the armour of most of the cruisers that they would face. You can't do that in the Scharnhorst because they're not 16-inch guns. In fact, they're barely 12-inch guns. So, I was having endless frustration firing armour-piercing shells from these guns at angled cruisers like the Cleveland, which at the time was only a tier 6. But the Cleveland has 100mm of belt armour, and angled, it will, and did, bounce the Scharnhorst's armour-piercing shells. Now that wasn't really a problem with the Scharnhorst, that was a problem with me expecting the Scharnhorst's 11-inch guns to be able to do what the Nagato and the Colorado's 16-inch guns could do under the same circumstances, and clearly that wasn't going to happen. But as I played more and learned more about how the game's mechanics work, specifically the overmatch mechanics, I really started to appreciate what the Scharnhorst can do. Because of the comparatively low caliber of the guns, you do have to switch between ammunition types. Well, assuming of course people aren't dumb enough to just give you a nice big fat broadside to shoot at, but if they're not so considerate, then yeah, you will spend quite some time switching between ammo types on the Scharnhorst, but that doesn't really matter, because it only has a 20-second reload. And if you find yourself in a target-rich environment, in something like the Colorado or the Nagato, you can often have big problems because the ships turn faster than the gun turrets do, and the ships don't turn very fast in the first place. Not so the Scharnhorst. It turns quickly, it's got a relatively small turning circle, good rudder shift time, and the turret traverse on the main gun batteries are actually, well, they put some cruisers to shame. Oh, he's managed to turn in time to avoid taking any damage at all from the Koenig. What is that Gator doing? Has he just parked behind an island and gone AFK? Because some support right now would be quite useful. Actually, some support right now would be a lot more useful than I suspect even Val realises, because as he comes around the corner here, you did notice the torpedoes, yes? It's not just the destroyer, by the way. The Koenig, the New York. There is a destroyer around the corner, it's the enemy Vasteros, but that's not all. There he is. And, yep, a pair of emeralds. Oh yes, the gang is all here. Think quick, Val, what you're going to do, because if you turn left, you're going to run into a whole bunch of torpedoes, and if you turn right, you're going to give broadside to a pair of battleships. Oh, torpedoes. Interesting choice. They do only have a 6 kilometre range, and yes, the New York is further away than that, but if he holds on that course and speed, he might run into them. You never know your luck. Okay, so he's chosen to angle against the battleships, which is smart, because, well, the Emeralds are well outside of their torpedo range, and the Vasteros is on the other side of an island, so that's good. By the way, have you noticed that his secondaries are shooting at the Emeralds? The Emeralds that are just less than 9 kilometres away and giving him perfect flat broadsides to shoot at with his 11-inch guns loaded with armour-piercing shells. So that's what he spent his 4-point captain skill on. Yes, it is. Improved secondary battery aiming. And because they're unloading themselves at Emeralds that were between 7 and 8 kilometres away, that means he's also blown 3 points on long-range secondary batteries. Remember, this is his Koenig captain. Not a recommended skill build for the Koenig, but not a completely terrible choice on the Scharnhorst. Oh look, torpedoes. The guy that is awake after all. And he's managed to avoid the torpedoes fired by the Vasteros. Okay, now that New York has basically held exactly the same course and speed for the best part of the last 5 minutes, so I think we can pretty much guarantee a torpedo kill here. Val has taken a shit ton of damage here, of course, and I think mostly at the hands of the Koenig, that his portside secondaries are blazing away at. There goes the New York, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a report in the battle messages at the top of the screen above the minimap there. The enemy Tier 7 Zara Italian cruiser just rammed and sank the friendly Tier 5 New York battleship. I think that was an excellent trade for the New York. And I do have to say, it was remarkably sporting of those 2 Emeralds, one of which is about to get a torpedo kill on the Gator. Oh, the humiliation. Getting torpedoed in a destroyer by a cruiser. But, well, here's the thing about HMS Emerald. It is definitely not a particularly great ship, but it does have the heaviest cruiser torpedo armament of any Tier 5 cruiser. In fact, it's got the heaviest torpedo cruiser armament of almost any Tier 6, 7, 8, 9 or even 10 cruiser. So I think it was remarkably sporting of those 2 Emeralds to not actually close to within 6 kilometres with the stock torpedoes, or 7 kilometres with the upgraded torpedoes, and, you know, use the torpedoes. And instead, oh, and there goes the Vasteros, dead to the secondaries. And instead, the 2 Emeralds did, well, basically just what that Emerald's doing over there. Not using the torpedoes, which are the only thing that's good on the ship, and instead cruising around, broadside on, exchanging gunfire with battleships that vastly outgun them. And there's kill number 3. And I'm pretty sure Val wasn't expecting to survive this. Although he's not out of the woods yet, although, well, if the Koenig was capable of hitting him, and had loaded high explosive, he could be in a lot of trouble. He's down to 4,700 health. He has to stay alive for 10 seconds before he can use his heal. His heal will heal back the full 9,436 that the Scharnhorst's heal is capable of. He just has to stay alive. Koenig's firing AP again. Superstructure hit could still kill him. Oof, not quite. Nearly, but not quite. He managed to get the heal away, and it wasn't enough to kill him anyway. Oh, Val, are you sure about this? Because I'm pretty sure not all of the Koenig's turrets fired. He could catch you in the broadside, even though you've got back about 10,000 health. Oh, no, none of his guns are even pointing this way. You're good. And you've managed to complete the turn. So if he is still firing AP, you should be fine. Val was probably not expecting to survive that encounter. And I've got to be honest with you, I was not expecting Val to survive that encounter. And yet he has. I mean, he nearly didn't. The ship is currently held together by masking tape and promises, but if either of those Emeralds had even attempted to do what the Emerald is actually good at, a single torpedo hit would have killed him. But they didn't. The Vasteros completely failed to hit him with his torpedoes as well, although the New York was kind of blocking him and not making it easy. Then again, the New York never once adjusted its course or speed. He pretty much just hit the W key and then sailed in a straight line right up the map. So if the Vastros was incapable of figuring out where the New York was going, that's on him. That Koenig behind the island is in a lot of trouble now. In case it's not obvious, he is spotted. He's trading shots with the Gneisenau over there and taking some long-range fire from the Fiji. The reason that Val can't see him is because the cyclone's closed in, so his visibility is down to 8 kilometres. Meanwhile, there's a spot of drama occurring up in the northwestern end of the map. If I can just draw your attention, although the Koenig has just popped up now and is capable of being shot at by Val, so I'm sure he's not going to waste any time. Although he might have to wait till he clears the island. Yeah. But 3 of the team's other Tier 7s, the Shores, Tier 7 Russian cruiser, and the 2 Tier 7 battleships, the Duke of York and the California, are all hiding behind islands. Because they don't want to get shot at by the Leon and the Duke of York to the south. They're all hiding up there while a Tier 5 cruiser went out spotting targets for them, and unfortunately died. And yeah, that is going to be a kill on the Koenig. Meanwhile, an extremely angry smokescreen is launching torpedoes and missing a Gneisenau at a range of about 5 kilometres. The extremely angry smokescreen has just died to the Emile Bertin. I'm going to take control of the camera here. There he is. Who fired blind into the smokescreen and killed the Fiji. Unfortunately for the Emile Bertin, he's on less than 1,000 health and he's within secondary gun battery range of a secondary spec Scharnhorst. He's just been designated as the priority target, which means, oh, he was lucky to go into town. Oh wait, he's back up again. 35% more accurate secondaries. There's the second Close Quarters Expert Award, and the Kraken Unleashed for kill number 5. The Gneisenau has torpedoes. Honestly, I don't know what's going on in this game. Because Gneisenau captains in particular are notorious for thinking that they're just in big destroyers and charging forward to get the torpedoes off at the slightest provocation. But not this one. What's going on in this game? The Emile Bertin has torpedoes. Okay, they only have a 6 kilometre range. He probably wouldn't have been able to hit Val with them, but he could have hit the Fiji and the smokescreen with them. Didn't use them. Blind fired him with guns instead. The Gneisenau has torpedoes. Didn't use them on Val. Didn't use them on the Fiji inside the smokescreen. The Emeralds. Fairly terrible Tier 5 cruisers, basically made out of citadels, but with extremely heavy torpedo armament. Didn't use them. Did something happen in World of Warships and torpedoing battleships suddenly went out of fashion? Did I miss a meeting? Do I still get to vote? Well, the cyclone's still in effect. Visibility's down to 8 kilometres, even though you wouldn't know it from looking at the sky. Sunshine and rainbows and so on and so on. Now, oh look, a Gneisenau. Now, observe, pay careful attention as the Gneisenau on Val's team demonstrates how you're supposed to do it. Closes in, torpedoes away, dead Duke of York. There you go. What's so hard about that? I don't know. Right, one enemy ship left, but it is the Lion. Tier 7 French battleship. Doesn't have particularly accurate guns, but it does have a lot of them. And this, I hasten to remind you, as Val comments in chat, brawling ain't dead. And high fives the Gneisenau as they sail past each other. The Lion, by the way, is a ship that does benefit a lot from the Deadeye skill. Although that close to the friendly Iron Duke, he's not actually getting any benefit from Deadeye if he even has it. Not that he really needs it, because he's killed him anyway. And he didn't use all of his gun turrets for that. I know that because, well, I can tell just by looking at his angle, and also because he immediately uses the rear turrets to bitch slap the friendly Shores. Any second now, bang, there he goes. It turns out that the Iron Duke, California, and Shores, who up until now have spent most of this game hiding from that Lion behind the islands to the north, where the Lion is now ducking into cover, did it for a bloody good reason. Because that Lion, it turns out, is a bit of a beast. He just went up against an Iron Duke, a California, and a Shores, 2 of whom are Tier 7s. And he's winning. What has been going on in this battle? We've got a Koenig captain with a secondary build in a Scharnhorst. Everybody just doesn't seem to want to torpedo battleships for some strange reason. Honestly, I don't know. World of Warships, you so silly. There's the Leon, the Cyclone's passed, and the California. Both of them still have almost all of their health remaining. Well, in the California's case, that's not surprising, because he spent most of this game hiding from the Leon. The Leon, however, the fact that he still has that much health, after fighting the Iron Duke, and the Shores, and the California, is pretty remarkable. Oh, he just got a bitch slapping from the California, though. And Val managed to get some shots off in the gap between the mountains there. Oh, it's not a kill. It's not a kill, but, well, he is in the Scharnhorst. He only has a 20-second reload, and it took the majority of that time for the shells to get there. Can he get the kill? Because, quite frankly, the California does not deserve it. Shots out. And it's looking good. And there it is. Kill number 7. So, what was all that about? Because honestly, at this point, I don't know. You could write your own headline. Yeah, so things happened. I'm not sure why or how, but they definitely did. And on that bombshell, I think I've said everything that I really need to say about that particular battle. Val, congratulations, I think. Well done anyway, and I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.